What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of MUT Tips. I am your host, Sean Taylor from the Made Up Theater, and let's jump into today's topic, specificity in object work. One of my favorite things to do in improv is object work because I like how it takes the emphasis off the dialogue and into the environment, into the shared activity amongst the players on stage. And it ultimately is something that is difficult, right? I'm not a professional mime. I'd even say I'm not very good at pantomime in many cases. But the thing is that should never ever discourage you from actually actively doing it, okay? Just because you think you might suck at it doesn't mean you should just only do talking head scenes and not play around with the environment. So let's get into some ways that we can be specific with our environment choices and object work. One of the first ways to show specificity with object work is through weight. We're dealing with thin air on stage, right? It's all pantomime, therefore we need to show thick air. And we show that with just giving objects weight so that the audience can buy into the weight of our scenes, right? So if there's a table in front of me right now, I can give it weight, okay? Just like setting my hands on the table, I'm giving it kind of like weight to the point where it has a tangible presence in this environment, okay? So if there's something on the table, like maybe there's a little rubber ball, I might pick it up like this. And I'm giving it weight just by the way I'm holding it, okay? A rubber ball is not very heavy, but I'm clutching it, okay? I have a nice grip on it, which is giving it weight. And if I put the ball down and release it, I've given the weight back to the table. Now, if there's maybe a bowling ball on the table, that has more weight to it, like a really heavy one. And rather than grabbing it with, one hand just like this, the normal way you would hold a ball, try to grab a bowling ball in real life without using the holes. You can't really do it, right? Because you don't have the grip on it and it's heavy. But if you use two hands, you reach out, grab it, and you create weight through just dynamic resistance, okay? So notice, I'm gripping, I'm pulling my fingers apart from each other, right? I have a nice tight grip on it, and I flex my muscles as a way to like hold it up to the sky, like that, okay? This is giving it weight through like flexing my muscles and creating that weight, okay? Putting it back down on the table, and now I can kind of relax my body. Practice like, picking up various objects in real life, putting them down, and then pantomime the weight that you just experienced. That's a great way to start to incorporate weight into your scenes, is by actually physically holding, both light things and heavy things. Another great way to be specific with object work is through emphasis. We are generally entering a blank space with nothing in it in any scene, and we need to convince the audience, our scene partners, and ourselves that there's stuff in this environment, right? It's not just a blank void where we'll just get into talking heads mode. And we do that through emphasis, okay? So if you establish that there's a table in the middle of the room, we need to emphasize that it's there, not just through the creation, but also just by maintaining its existence through the emphasis that we give it. Otherwise, people will just walk into the room and pass it, and then it just disappears, right? So if there's a table in the room, like maybe when you deliver a line, you put your hands on the table and like lean forward intently, and then boom, you've established that the table is still there, and it's a very crucial part to the scene. Or maybe there's objects on this table, right? Maybe there's a glass of water and you pick it up, drink it, and then put it down. Now in real life, when you drink from a glass of water and you put it down, you just kind of go like that, right? Because the weight of the glass will make it so it doesn't just tip over. But when we do that in improv, it looks like it just kind of disappears or falls to the ground. So we need to emphasize that surface. So if you pick up a glass of water, drink it, we do like a popping motion, right? A boom. It kind of just shows that that surface is there, it validates its existence, and it no longer looks like just a blank void. We are creating on stage through our imagination so that the audience can use their imagination together with us. Another really important way to be specific with our object work so that we can actually visualize what we're doing is through our pace. Most of the time when people are like lost in their scene and lost in their object work, they're going too fast. Slow it down, okay? I've been in scenes myself where like I'm making a smoothie, for example, but I'm going too fast to the point like I'm thinking in my head, where am I right now? What step am I on? I can't visualize it because my brain's going too fast and my motions are going too fast. So slow it down. A great way to practice this is to do an activity that you can easily do, like make a sandwich, or fold laundry, anything like that. Do it first and just kind of like visualize the steps as you're doing it. Do it at the normal pace. When you make a sandwich, you're not going lightning speed fast. You're going at a nice, deliberate, like steady pace. After you've done that, do it again, but just do it with pantomime. And again, just using emphasis, deliberate motions. When you pick up that jar of mustard and open that lid, you know, put more grit into it, you know? More grip into that lid opening, right? And then put it down with a little popping motion. Grab the tools you need, the knife and everything. Just be slow and deliberate. Like even visualizing in your head, like step 1, open the mayo. Step 2, put the knife in the mayo. Step 3, and so on and so forth, okay? Imagine the Chariots of Fire theme is playing in the background, okay? Feel free to go in like a super slow motion as a way to really hone in on the specific details of the activity that you're doing. Let's put it all together with an activity. This is gonna be kind of a guessing game where it requires, you know, at least 2 people. One person's the clue giver and one person's the guesser. And this is something you can easily play over video conferencing or even just with your family or people at home during this whole shelter-in-place time. But when things return back to normal, it's a great way to practice communication through object work. So one person, again, is the clue giver, and they're gonna get an activity that they're gonna try to get the guesser to guess. So it could be a sport, a hobby, a chore, anything like that. And what I want you to do is get them to guess the activity, but don't do the activity, okay? Give them the tools that they need to do it themselves first, okay? This is like the first step to a guessing game called 5 Things that's really fun. But this part is probably the most difficult step, okay? So for example, if the suggestion was bowling, you can't just come in and just start bowling, right? That's kind of giving away what the actual activity is. You need to drop hints and give a nice strong setup so you get your partner to give the payoff of actually doing the activity. So like, what are some things involved with bowling, right? You know, you might try on shoes. You might actually go grab the ball and put your fingers in some of the holes and be like, oh, this is too tight, this is too big. Oh, this one fits just right. You know, when you bowl, like sometimes you like, you know, put your hands over the air and kind of like get the sweat off your hands or put in your name. There's so many things. I encourage you, try to do 3 setups and then see if your partner can guess the activity through those at least 3 setups. Try to do a few more, but at least 3, that's your goal. And then after they've, you know, successfully gathered what it is, they'll start doing it. They'll start to actually bowl, and then boom, you've completed the task. Try it out. And by try it out, I mean you're gonna try it out with me. I'm going to give you some clues right now and try to get you to guess an activity. I'm not gonna do the activity, I'm gonna give you some setups and see if you can guess what it is once I'm done. Now, in this version, I'm actually gonna use Gibberish, okay? It's a fake, made-up language. It's my way to communicate with you a little more and get into a character and, you know, just emphasize the communication in the scene, okay? Gibberish can be as simple as skibidi-ba, or la 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 la, or sha la la la. The best way to use it is to vary it up a little bit too, okay? That way you can actually start to create words for objects in the scene that you can even come back to as a way to really strongly communicate with your scene partner, okay? Let me see what I got.
Oh, scatterabba, oh, scatterabba, yeah, ska, oh, scatterabba, zik, ah, oh, scatterabba, pa, scatterabba, eh, scatterabba, ah, scatterabba, scatterabba, oh, yeah. Oh, oh, da ba ba, like, oh, skina ba ba ba,
Did you? Oh, ska ba 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 ba. Did you get it? On the count of 3, say it with me. 1, 2, 3. Video games. That was the activity. Maybe you got it, maybe you didn't. Now notice I actually didn't like use a big space. I was trying to actually fit it in this little box because that's what we're kind of improvising in right now through shelter in place with video conferencing software. So I tried that out. It's a little more complicated, but it's still something you can do. So in my activity, you know, conveyance, I did a few setups, right? My first one is like, I kind of showed a need, like I was bored, and I also showed an object of just glasses on my face. So that was a way to show that I was like maybe a little kid, my voice was different too, and show maybe I'm like a little bit more of like a nerdy kid who likes to play video games, obviously. And a few setups that I did is I obviously showed that maybe there was like a little bit of a dresser. I pulled the system out and plugged it in first, and then I took out the controllers. You know, controllers are very deliberate, like wrapped up together. You wanna unwrap them. I didn't go like this because I didn't wanna go too fast. Like sometimes object work just looks like you're solving a Rubik's Cube if you're going too fast. Just simple, deliberate, emphasized motions of unwrapping that controller and plugging it in. I even did it twice just to show you it again so that there was one for you and one for me. And obviously, putting that cartridge in and being like, oh no, it doesn't work, blowing it. Remember back in the old days, that's what we used to do. We blew into those cartridges to get them to work, and putting it in and just kind of showing the vision of like our awesome video game that we're about to play come up on screen. That's how I did it. There's a lot of other ways you can do it too. Go try it out with somebody. Just play around with different activities. Get a word generator too, Sakio, that's my app that I recommend. There's activities on there. Anything you want, try it out because it's a fun guessing game that'll help you become just stronger at being specific and stronger with just communication in general, that's what we have on stage with Improv, communicating with each other. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode of MUT Tips. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, like it down below or comment with somebody you would like addressed in a future video, or just comment to say, hey, thanks a lot, I really appreciate it, or nice video. Or say, nice haircut. Also, subscribe on YouTube. It's a great way to be informed of upcoming videos. This MUT Tips segment is released every single week on Tuesday, so please subscribe so you are informed every single week. We also have other videos coming out as well, so stay tuned. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next time for another episode of MUT Tips. Bye.